Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is YAHMAD. In this video I'm going to be completing a website section from paper 3 from the CIE ICT IGCSE course. So paper 3 is a practical paper which is 2 hours and 30 minutes long, and for this video we're going to be doing a May-June 2019 paper version 31. If you check out the playlist for this video, you'll notice I've already completed the spreadsheet section, so check that out. And the evidence document is ready and set up as well. So this is the evidence document. I've got my details in the header, and these are the print screens from the Excel part of the task of the paper. So I'm going to skip forward and go to the website section. So we started on page 6, task 3 web page. Let me just zoom in. Okay, question 121. A new style is to be added to a style sheet to meet the specification. So this is a specification here. So style H6 must be a 14-point right aligned font. It should be set to Arial or the browser's default sans serif font if Arial is not available. This was created. So this was the style sheet that was created, or the style that was created. Evaluate in your own words how effectively this CSS meets the specification for the style. Now there's 4 marks, so we need to basically identify 4 points to this. So let's identify some mistakes. Okay, you'll notice here text align hasn't been spelt properly. We got 2 L's, so that's the first mistake. So this is not going to work. Also, after Arial, what we should have is a comma. So if Arial is not available, then it should be comma, then sans serif, the browser's default sans serif font. So that's another mistake. This is also a mistake here. This dot refers to a class rather than the CSS style. So that's a mistake. What actually has been done well is the font size is set to 14 points, so that's fine. And the font family, the first font that will be chosen is going to be Arial. So in the evidence document you need to evaluate in your own words. What I've done to save myself a bit of time is just take the information from the mark scheme. So let's go to the evidence document. So the first thing I've put down was text align misspelt, so it won't work. It will never open a default sans serif font as you have a semicolon after Arial. You should have had a comma. The font size statement is correct and will work. Font family will set the font to Arial if it's available. So if you look at this example here, you can see the first part was right, font size was right. Now we've got the correct spelling for text align, so this will be right. And also now we've got the comma instead of the semicolon. So if Arial is not available, then a browser will select a default sans serif font. So this is just one example. I'm going to close this down, and also we don't have the dot, so we're not dealing with a class. So when you have these types of questions, try and pick out the 2 or the obvious mistakes, but also try and evaluate or identify what is actually correct and what is working in this piece of CSS code. Okay, so let's now move forward. You are going to create a web page and edit a style sheet for special disk sales. Many of the people who will view the web page have a very slow internet connection. The web page and style sheet must work in any browser. All color codes must be in hexadecimal. Make sure that your style sheet contains no HTML. So for question 22, what we need to do is create a new folder called SDS. So let's copy this. Let's go to our source folder, create a new folder. So you can right click your mouse, go to new, select folder, and enter the name of the folder. And then what we need to do is locate the following files and store them into your SDS folder. Okay, so let's move all the JPEG pictures first. You got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 JPEGs. So let's just move these first. And you've got this picture as well. And we also need to move the style sheet and a text document as well into the folder. So it's these 2 basically. Let's open up the folder. Let's go to details. I prefer to have a look in details so then you can see the file extension types as well, the file sizes. Okay, so that's that done. Let me highlight. Right, display the contents of your SDS folder showing a folder name, all file names, extensions, file sizes and image dimensions as well. So sometimes in the newer papers especially, you have to take a print screen of the folder showing these extra attributes as well. So let me have a look. So we got a file name here, okay, extensions here. We don't need date, so let me right click on date and get rid of date. So we've got a file, we've got a folder name up here, file names here, extensions here, file size, and we need the image dimension. So let's get rid of tags. We don't need tags. Let's add dimensions. Okay, so before I take a screenshot showing the contents of my SDS folder, make sure all of the information is showing. What you don't want is to crop off any of the file names or file types. You know, you want to make sure all of the information is fully visible. Once you've done that, you can take a print screen. If you want, you can use the snipping tool. I just prefer to do this now. So this was evidence 4. So I like to just press the print screen button and then do a simple paste. Okay. And then Control V to copy. Let's move this onto the next page actually. So evidence 4, crop off the part which you don't need. And then resize. And what you can see here is you've got the folder name, you've got the file names, the file type, so the extensions, the size and actual dimensions for any pictures. Let's save the changes and let's move on. Okay, so that's that part done. Okay, for question 23, we're going to be making a web page, okay, called sds.htm. So we just need this part for now. So the software we're going to be using is Microsoft Expression Web 4. To create a new page, you click on File, go to New, and then select HTML. And then the next thing we should do is save our page into the folder that we created. So you go to File, Save As, go to your source folder, SDS, and then enter the name for your page. So I think the page is going to be called SDS. Let me double check again. Yeah, and then press Save. Okay, so this web page must work in all browsers and will have a table structure as shown below. So this is a table we're going to be creating. Each table cell is identified with a letter and all dimensions are in pixels. The letters and dimensions shown in the table must not appear on the final web page. Table borders must not appear on the final web page as well. So I might come back to this point later on. But let's create the table. So before we create the table, let's identify how many rows and columns we have. So rows go across. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, and columns 1, 2, and 3. So to create the table, you go to Table, Insert. We can enter 5 rows, and then we can insert 3 columns. Now normally when I'm making a table, I identify how wide the table is going to be, and remember we're going to be using pixels as it states here. Okay, all the dimensions are in pixels. So what we're going to have to do is basically add this value to this value here. So remember, the first values refer to how wide the cell is, the second value refers to the height of the cell. So to work out how wide the table will be from this point to this point, we're going to add 400 to 700, which will give us 1100. So let's enter that into here and then click OK. So here's our table. The next thing we're going to do is then merge some cells together. So the first column has been merged, or the first cell has been merged across 5 rows. So let's highlight all these rows and let's right click our mouse, go to Modify, merge these cells. These 2 cells have been merged across 2 columns. Modify, merge cells. and then these cells have been merged across 4 rows. Right click, modify, merge cells. Now let's have a look at the code, HTML code. So if you click on code, okay, so let me just have a look at the question paper again. So remember, this cell here has been merged across 5 rows. Okay, so that's why you have this piece of code here. Okay, this one here has been merged across 2 columns. Okay, so if I just go to design, back to design, if we click on this cell here and then go to code, so we're referring now to this piece of code here. Okay, and then if I go back to the table and click on this cell here and go to the code, we now refer to this piece of code here. So this spans 4 rows. So when you see this piece of code, it just basically refers to how many rows or columns the cell spans over. Okay, now we're going to enter the dimensions for each cell. So this will be 400 by 770. So to enter the sizes, you right click on a cell, you go to cell properties, and we can specify how wide the cell is going to be. So it's going to be 400, and the height will be 70. So let me double check. So yeah, the cell's 400 wide and the height is 770. Okay, so we can click apply, press OK. Let's do the next cell. So B is going to be 700 wide, height will be 170. So we can right click on that cell, cell properties, specify it's going to be 700 pixels wide, and then height will be 170. Apply, done. Let me double check. Okay, that's fine. It does look doesn't look in proportion right now, but I think when you start resizing the other cells, the table will look more like this. So C, E, F and G all have the same size, 356 wide, 150 in height. So we can do this in one go. So if we highlight these cells there, right click, cell properties, specify how wide it's going to be. It's going to be 356 by 150. Let me double check again. Yeah, that's that done. Apply, OK. And this last cell here is quite hard to see it, but it's just gone into a little space. If I right click on this cell here, this one will be 344 by 600. Apply, done. Okay, so here's our table. So you got the main cell here, which is cell A. Then we've got B, which spans 2 columns. Okay, then you got another cell here, which has been merged over 4 rows. Let's save the changes. Okay, so let's now look at the next question. Question 24. Place in cell A the image sdsdisk.jpg. Okay, so cell A is going to be this cell here. So to insert an image, you can either click on this icon here, or you can go to insert picture from file up here. So it's up to you what you want to do. So click on the cell, go to insert picture from file, and select the picture you want to insert. So then you'll get this option here. Do you want to include alternative text? Now let me have a look at the paper. Normally after you've inserted the images, they may ask you later on to include alternative text. So I prefer to do it whilst I'm inserting the pictures. So as you can see, question 27, make sure appropriate text is displayed if an image is not available. So if the browser cannot load up the image, the text you enter now into this box will be displayed instead. So since the picture is of a disk, we can write disk. Let me just double check the name. Was it disk? Yeah, disk with a K at the end. Okay, and you can see the pictures on the big side. So let's see the next question. So now we're going to resize the picture. So it's going to be 400 pixels wide, and we're going to maintain the aspect ratio. So you right click on the picture, you go to picture properties, appearance, and make sure this box here is ticked to maintain the aspect ratio. Let's type in 400 pixels wide, and you can see the height will automatically adjust to the height of the cell. Press OK, and that's a perfect fit. So let me save the changes, and let's go to the code. So you can see for the code, you can see the alternative text, which will be disk. This is a picture that's been imported or inserted. So src equal, and then in speech marks you got the name of the file and dot the file extension, and you also got the size dimensions of the picture as well. So 400 by 770. Okay, so that's that done. Enter in cell B the text special disk sales. So cell B is going to be this one here at the top. So I'm just going to highlight this part. It's done as well now. So in the exam you will have to type this. I can copy and paste using the shortcut keys, Control-C to copy, Control-V to paste. And then this text needs to be formatted as heading 1. So let's highlight the text and apply H1. Again, if you refer to the code, you can see the style has been applied, so H1, and you close the tag with a backward slash. Okay. Later on, when we attach a CSS, this may change. Question 26. Using the most appropriate image from button 1 to button 4, place in a cell. So C, the button to select cloud storage. So C is going to be here. Is it E, F, G? So we're basically going to be placing buttons into the middle column. So the first one is going to be for cloud storage. So let's click here, go to insert picture from file, and I'm going to select the button which says cloud. I don't know if you can see or not. Let's increase the size. Yeah, so cloud. The alternative text will be cloud storage. Press OK. The next one will be a button to select hard disk drives. Let me copy that for the alternative text. So click in that cell below, picture again from file. Yep, so hard disk drives, yep. Insert, include your alternative text. The next one's going to be solid state drive, so SSD. So insert picture from file, this one here. I'll just write it in solid state drives, and then finally let's insert this picture here, and that's going to be to contact the company. Insert again picture from file, yeah, contact, and let's include the alternative text, and let's save the changes. Okay, done. So we can highlight all of these. If you want, you can have a look at the code, and you can see there's the first picture, or the this line here refers to the first picture. You got the alternative text. The second picture, again, you can see the alternative text. The third picture, and then the fourth picture. Question 28. In cell D, place the text from the file SDS text. So what we need to do is open up that text document and place it into cell D, which is going to be the cell here. So SDS text, let's open up the file. Let's make it full screen. And we can copy this or use Control-C and V again. Let's click in the cell, paste it in. Okay, just move that to the side. Okay, so below this text, add the following new paragraph. updated by, and then followed by your name, center number, candidate number. So for center number I'll use 5, 6, 7, 8. For candidate number I'll use 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously in the exam you'd have to use your own details. So let's create a new paragraph. So let me just press enter. So enter my name, enter the center number 5, 6, 7, 8, and then my candidate number. Highlight all of the text, and let's apply heading 2. So does that all fit in? Perfect. Okay, so that's that done. Now for question 219 we're going to attach the style sheet sdsstyle.css to this web page, and then we're going to save the web page. So before we attach the style sheet you need to have this panel open. If you don't see it, it might be on the right hand side, or you can go to panels and select manage styles. So if I click on attach style sheet, browse, and let's double check the name. So sdsstyle.css, double click, and remember the style sheet will give this page some formatting. Okay, so I don't think much has changed. Right, that's okay for now. So let me save the file. The only thing I noticed was this text slightly, font size went a bit bigger. Okay, let's now go to the next question. So question 30. We need to edit the style sheet SDS style, so that's the one we just attached, to meet the following specifications. So let me open up the style sheet. So if I go to file, open, go to your source folder, find the style sheet, and let's open it up. So we've got 2 tags so far. We've got one for H1, one for H2. We have nothing for table, background, or anything like that. So what do we need to do? So we need to edit the style sheet. Okay, so H1, let's do that first. So let's go to my property panel. Let's right click on H1 and select modify style. Okay, so set to Arial. If that's not available, then Helvetica. If that's not available, then to the browser's default sans serif font. So Arial, comma, if that's not available, then Helvetica, then sans serif. So that's fine, don't need to change anything there. 52 points high. So what we do, we type in here 52, and since it's asking for points, I'm going to select PT here as well. Italic and center aligned. So font style will be italic, and if I go to block, the text will be center aligned. And you know, just paying attention to this, you can see here center is spelled in the British way, but if you are using this particular software or even Dreamweaver, you'll notice the spelling is American for center, so ER instead of RE. Let's click apply. Okay, actually there was one last thing to do. So set with no blue or red components, but the green is set to 7F. So let me go back into H1, modify style. So always by default select black. So there's no red. Okay, no red components, or no blue. So remember the red is the first 2. The green is the next 2, and blue is the last 2. So what we want is we have some green components. The green components are 7 and F. So the middle 2 characters, we can type in 7 and an F, and it's giving us a shade of green. Let's click apply. Done. That's the first one finished. Now for H2, we need to set the font to Arial or Helvetica, or the browser's default sans serif font. And also you'll notice we need to format the alignment to make it fully justified as well. Okay, so there is no text color for this one, so let's go back to expression, modify the style. It looks like the font is right, so font is Arial or Helvetica or the browser's default sans serif. So what we need to do is just fully justify the text. So if we go to block again, text align, select justify. There's no color components, so we can just press OK or apply and then OK, and that's that done. Okay, so that was actually really easy, that CSS part. What we need to do now is add a comment, so we need to include your name, center number and candidate number as a comment at the start of the style sheet. So to add a comment, go to start, you type in the slash star, and you can see the whole code has turned into green because it thinks it's all a part of the comment. We will have to close the comment once we finish typing everything that's included. So center number and then candidate number. So for center number I'll use 5, 6, 7 and 8, and then for my candidate number I'll use 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I can close the comment. So to close the comment you press star and then slash again, and you can see the normal colors have returned. Save this style sheet into your folder. We've not been given a new name, so we can save it as it is. So file and save. Take a screenshot showing the code or showing the content of your style sheet and place this into your evidence document. Make sure that all contents and file names are clearly visible. So it's going to be a screenshot. In previous papers they may say take a copy, but in this case they've been specific. They said take a screenshot. So let me press my print screen button. This is evidence 5. And let me paste, and obviously crop off the part which you don't want to use and only show the parts which you want to include. And it's important you always include a file name, so SDS style, and here's the information, so it's nice and clear and nothing's cropped off. What you don't want to do is squash the text, so it makes it difficult to read. So make sure the print screen is nice and clear. Let me save the changes. Now what we need to do is display the web page in your browser. If necessary, resize so all of the page can be seen, all of the text can be easily read, and the address bar is visible as well. So evidence 6 is going to be a screenshot in the browser. So let's go back to this page here. You can see the text here has changed now. Okay, and also this text is now fully justified as well. So if I go to preview in Chrome, and what we'll have to do is resize the page so we can see all of the information. Let's take a print screen, and evidence 6 is the browser print screen. So let's go to evidence document, let's go to the next page, evidence 6. And again, it's up to you how you want to take your print screens. If you want to use the snipping tool, press the print screen button and paste. That's up to you as well. So make sure you include the browser window here. What you don't want to do is crop this off, because then you have no way of telling if you're in a browser or not. Save the changes. So that's that done. And then for evidence 7, we're going to display the HTML source in your editor. So what that means is if you go to the code view, this is what we want basically now for the evidence. And it says take a copy. So when it says a copy, it means copy and paste of the HTML source and place this into your evidence document. So go to expression, from the first line to the last line, copy. That's right, evidence 7, and then copy and paste in the code. Don't resize anything, you don't need to change anything. Let's just make it bigger so you can see one page at a time. So it's fine if it goes across many pages, the size is fine. So the things that will be marked are, let me go down, you've attached the right style sheet, the table formatting, so the sizes, columns have been merged, or cells have been merged across columns or rows, the heights of each of the cells, Pictures have been inserted with alternative text. Pictures have been resized if necessary. So these are the things that will be marked. So you need to copy all of the evidence documents HTML in. And that's it. We've come to the end of this paper. So save and print your evidence document. So before you print, if you go to print preview, and if you go to the first page, check to see your details appear in the header on every page. So if we go backwards, so this was the first evidence for the website section. So we had to look at the piece of CSS code. There was a couple of mistakes. Some elements did work. This was the second print screen where we had to show the folder structure of where we moved the files. So we got the file name of the folder and the file names, types, sizes and dimensions for the pictures. Evidence 5 was a screenshot showing the CSS that we edited. This was a screenshot of the web page in the browser, and the next evidence is the HTML which we copied. So you'll notice there's no borders showing in this table here, so I don't really need to change anything. So do you remember I said we would go back to this question here? So we didn't actually have to do anything in the end, so the borders weren't showing. Okay, so I've completed now the website section of this paper, May-June 2019 31. Thanks for your time. Please drop your comments below, and please like and share this video and show your support to your channel. Please subscribe as well. Good luck in your exams if you're sitting them next in a few weeks time. I think it's next week. Take care. All the best.